Hello, everybody. Hope everyone's doing well out there. Welcome to another live stream today. We are doing episode 5, Empire Strikes Back, with only 10 days until the Rise of Skywalker hits theaters. How excited are you guys? I'm so excited. If you're new to this follow along or watch along, as I like to call them, what I do is I put a time code right about here. You can sync up your live stream and watch the movie along with me live and join in the comments, and we can talk about this movie and everything we love or hate about it. I'm also going to let this video live on my channel after I'm done with this live stream, so that if you ever want to come back and rewatch Empire Strikes Back with my commentary for some reason, or if that's something that interests you, it'll be up on my channel so you can do just that. Now, with that being said, let's start this movie. I love Empire Strikes Back. It's one of my favorites. Let's get right into it. Starting the time, starting the movie. Oh boy. The clock's ticking. I'm trying to get through all these before the Rise of Skywalker, and I have so much going on with the holidays quickly approaching. So we're trying to get into this and get these knocked out. After this, I'll have 3 more in Return of the Jedi, Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. Here we go, the fanfare and the crawl. Episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back, which many regard to be the best Star Wars movie. And I won't deny that. It is the best movie in the whole franchise. It's not my personal favorite. I love this movie so much, but Return of the Jedi will always have my heart. It is a dark time for the rebellion. Although the Death Star has been destroyed, Imperial troops have driven the rebel forces from their hidden base and pursued them across the galaxy. Evading the dreaded Imperial Starfleet, a group of freedom fighters led by Luke Skywalker has established a new secret base on the remote ice world of Hoth. The evil Lord Darth Vader, obsessed with finding young Skywalker, has dispatched thousands of remote probes into the far reaches of space. Anyway, so this movie, there's so many things that are great about this movie. It's the first time we get Yoda in the OG trilogy. We get Force Ghost, Obi-Wan, and of course that epic cliffhanger ending that shook the galaxy. As a kid, I had one of these probe droid action figures. It was one of my favorites. But it's funny because of how small those figures were, I always thought the probe droids were a lot smaller, like in scale compared to the characters. But they're actually pretty huge. They're as big, if not bigger than a person. They actually have one, and I don't know if it was built specifically for Galaxy's Edge. They have one kind of in the droid section of Galaxy's Edge hanging on the wall, and you can see how big those things really are. Oh, the Tauntaun. Pretty amazing special effects right there. Stop motion looks pretty solid. They shot all of this Hoth stuff, if not all of it, most of it, in a really rural area of Norway. I actually lived in Norway for a couple of years, and it was on my to-do list, but I never made it out there to see where they shot this because it's a pretty remote area. In fact, they'd say there's not really much to see. It's just the hills that would be recognizable. But Anyway. Haha. Bantha. That tauntaun jibber jabber is so funny. I love it. And Han in his coat, which has been a much debated thing among Star Wars fans. Is his coat blue or brown or black? I think the action figure was blue. I had it. But in the movie, it looks almost brown, or it's really dark blue. And I'm talking about his winter coat, not his jacket. I've still got this stupid cold I'm getting over, so forgive me if I mute myself so I don't cough into the microphone. Hmm. Good gravy. Come on, come on. The tension between Han and Leia is so good in this. I mean, it's been building up, but it's like at its peak in this movie. It's great. My Disney Plus window, the running time is not counting up. It's just frozen at zeros. I don't know if I should be worried or not. It's playing, but I'm hoping it doesn't crash or glitch out at any point. Your tauntaun will freeze before you reach the first marker. Then I'll see you in hell. Now this cave scene, it freaked me out as a kid. I was horrified because before the special edition, you remember they only they don't really show the oh, it looks so cool in the special edition, this new scene they shot with the the bantha, but they didn't really show it in the original cut. It was mostly left to your imagination. So the sound and the screaming of the tauntaun, it was pretty scary to me as a kid. Nice. I said bantha. That's so wrong. I don't know why I said bantha. Jeez. It's not bantha. It's wampa. Hello. Luke is so screwed out there. If it wasn't for Han, he would just be done. Pure whiteout blizzard. Hmm. You know, Peter Mayhew was pretty brilliant acting inside that Chewie suit, showing emotion without being able to use any expressions on his face. Like, really good. Obi-Wan. That's such a great shot with Ben Kenobi, his ghost fading out, and then Han coming in on the Tauntaun right in this place. And the Tauntaun's done. It's had it. That's enough. Could you imagine if they had used this shot of Han Solo lighting up this lightsaber to cut open the Tauntaun? Could you imagine if they used that single shot in a trailer? How freaking excited fans would have been back then. They'd be like, Han, what? It's kind of like what they did with Finn in The Force Awakens. Remember, we actually saw him hold up a lightsaber in the trailer before we saw Rey do it in any. Hmm. By the way, you know what was never addressed? They did say that there's no way they would survive out there um, overnight. And Luke is in the Tauntaun, so he's well insulated. How did Han stay warm? Did he climb in there with him? Did they have a tight squeeze in the Tauntaun? I don't know. Oh, well. Overcritical. Not important. You know, it's cool. This snowspeeder that finds Solo, his call sign is Rogue 2. And you almost wonder if, I mean, obviously, when this movie came out, they had no idea there was going to be a Rogue One movie, but it opens up a lot of possibilities as far as did he take his call sign kind of in the same vein as Rogue One's? I don't know. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. I'm not that well versed in Star Wars lore or canon. In the back the tank. Laugh it up, fuzzball. Scruffy looking nerve herder. You guys ever wonder what a nerf is or what a nerf looks like? Let's see what this thing looks like. I've never looked it up. Kind of looks like a buffalo. Here, I'll pull it up and show you guys. Sorry about that. Here you go, nerf herder. This is even better. Here, I'm pulling up the nerf still, the nerf herder. Hold on one sec. I've always wondered what one of these things look like. You guys could probably Google it faster than me, but if you're lazy, I'm going to do it for you. Oh, they took out the probe droid. Where did I save it? Hold on a second. Oh, yeah. What an epic score again. John Williams' score is so great. Here you go. Via Wikipedia, this is what a Nerf and a Nerf herder look like. There you go. It kind of looks like a buffalo with a bigger tail and goat horns. So there you go. A scruffy looking Nerf herder. Hey, Steve Rogers, or I'm sorry, Steve Roberts commenting that he wants me to start a new channel for these live watch-alongs because he watches my reviews because they're a minute. Hey, man, I appreciate it. I have these all saved in a separate playlist. Yes, they are listed on my main page as well, but hey, you can still find my videos the same way. I'm open for suggestions. If you want me to take them off my main page and leave them in a playlist, I can possibly do that. But hey, thanks for the suggestion. I'm just trying to expand my content because of the way the YouTube algorithm works. My 1 minute videos don't do very well. YouTube buries them in the mass of content because their bots or their algorithm, the way it measures things is the longer videos perform better. They're because they can hold eyeballs for more ads. And because mine are only a minute, it's an uphill battle. So I'm trying to do things, trying to mix some things up, add extra segments and ideas that can increase the length of my videos. So, and if that's something you don't like, hey, that's fine. I'm still going to do your 1 minute movie reviews, and you can always check them out on my channel. So I appreciate the feedback. Yeah, and I will be fair. I have been doing a lot of these back to back. Normally, under normal circumstances, I don't think I'll do this. It's just I kind of slacked off as far as binging all the Star Wars movies before the Rise of Skywalker, and I want to get them in. So that's why these have been so frequent together. In the future, I'll plan it out better so that I have one of these and then maybe 4 or 3 reviews. One of these, 3 or 4 reviews. That way, you're not like, oh, did this channel just become a live watch along channel? Because right now that's what it kind of looks like, but that's not the case. this day, the Battle of Hoth is one of my all-time favorite Star Wars battles. It is so cool. And bringing those AT-ATs in, or AT-ATs, you guys discuss which way is right, but I will always say AT-AT because they say ATST, not ATST. So, anyway, bringing those into the movie were such a cool thing. It was such a cool thing that we'd never seen before. This giant dog or horse mech battle thing. It was very cool. Should say a quadped battle transport. It's funny that this is that really old movie that Spider-Man references in Captain America Civil War when he comes up with a plan to take out Ant-Man. So great. Such a great line. Poor Dak. Dak is toast. Man, hitting something with that harpoon gun has got to be so tough. Mhm. Now, this is the first time in the original trilogy that C-3PO and R2 separate. R2 goes with Luke to Dagobah, and C-3PO stays with the Falcon. Time to go. Get out of the base. That magnet harpoon gun that Luke has is pretty awesome. How he goes up to throw a thermal detonator up underneath that AT-AT. In that shot when it tips over, you can see a little dowel come up from underneath to help push it over. Pretty great. Sorry about that. It's such a cool story development. These guys, the team, Han, Leia, Luke, they all kind of separate and go on their own adventures. Him struggling to start the Falcon in the bay. It's so funny. And they're off. Heading off to Dagobah. Yeah, those Star Destroyers were flying right at each other. Were they so focused on the Falcon that they didn't see the two other Star Destroyers coming right at them? Hey Eric, what's up, dude? Yeah, I'm up pretty late. I got three small kids, so I could never do this during the day. I would have them crawling all over me, yelling my name. But I sleep. I usually hit the sack around 2 a.m. and then I'm up by 6 or 7. So I get a good solid 4 to 5 hours. But I've always been a night hawk. I can stay up real late pretty easy. Waking up is different though. I only get up because my kids are up. How you doing tonight, man? But I can see how you'd think, don't I ever sleep? That's funny. This asteroid field chase is so good. Oh yeah, 2:30. So you must be like, are you not all the way on the East Coast? Are you? You yeah. I think you're thinking Midwest. Anyway, this asteroid field scene is great because Han is bragging so much the whole time. He's so arrogant. I love it. Oh, Ohio, cool man. Yeah, it's only 11:20 here, so it's not so late here. The John Williams score is just so buttery, man. I love it. It makes me feel all warm and fuzzy inside. And Han just flew into a big wormhole and didn't know it. Yeah, the music in the first three are so good. I think it's just because I've seen these movies so many times as a kid, and that music just sticks to your brain, you know. And so when I hear it, it just takes me right back to that time. I love it so much. Dagobah. You know, the as a when I was little, and even today, it still bothers me a little bit. But here, Luke's on this distant planet, Dagobah. It's like a swamp planet, you know, and but it still has like Earth animals. Like there's snakes, and I mean, obviously, there's other animals that are stop motion, but that always bothered me. I'm like, why do they have snakes like us? Why do they have a little bit of nitpicking there? Hmm. Oh, the R2 has like a little periscope. It's really funny. Oh, dude, are you kidding? That score, the black hole score, is so good. Like, just thinking about it, I'm getting goosebumps. Dude, that I wish more people have had seen the black hole. It is such a good movie. It has a little bit of the Disney cheese in it, but that score is so good. And that one of my favorite shots of all time in any movie is in the black hole, and it's when they're running across that corridor in the ship, and that giant meteor is in the background tumbling towards them. Oh, it's such a cool shot. Yeah, R2D2 is kind of a Swiss Army knife, a Swiss Army droid. And he just vomited up a whole bunch of black stuff. Oh yeah, this is when we get our first glimpse of Vader's bare and scarred skin when they peek through the crack of his dome thing and they put his helmet on. You can see his head all scarred up. That's so cool. As a kid, that creeped me out. Take the professor. That scene is great, but I think my favorite in the black hole is Bob's death. The amount of emotion that Skim and Roddy and the puppeteers got out of those little bots. Oh yeah, dude. Those that movie's it's just so good in general. And obviously Disney made it at the time to compete with Star Wars because they knew Star Wars was something special. And it's so funny because I don't know if you've been to Disneyland, Eric, but before they kind of gave it the Star Wars makeover, Space Mountain always gave me the black hole vibe. Like being down the corridors in that ride when we were getting down towards where the roller coaster entrance is, and even in that main area, it totally feels like it's straight out of the movie The Black Hole. So any of you guys watching this, if you have not seen The Black Hole, go watch it. It's on Disney Plus. So if you have Disney Plus, it's there. You got to check it out. It's pretty great. It's tonally different than Star Wars, but it's very cool. Yeah, Eric, you got to go. And if you do, when you go on Space Mountain, it's called Hyperspace Mountain, but when you go on it, they haven't changed the decorations inside, but definitely think black hole when you're there, and you'll totally see what I'm saying. It's funny. Yoda, when you first meet Yoda in the OG trilogy, he's pretty cute. But little did we know that 900 years younger, his species looks way cuter. All right, man. Eric, good chatting. Sleep well. See you next time. Hmm. It's funny. If you watch these movies in order for the first time, you've never seen a Star Wars movie, and you watched episode 1 through 9 in order, you'd be so thrown off at why Yoda is acting so silly here, you know? Because he's so serious and very wise in the original trilogy, or I'm sorry, in the prequels. But in this one, at least now, before he puts down his front, because he's clearly putting on a show for Luke, um, you'd be really thrown. You'd be like, why is he so silly? Has he lost his mind? I love that shot when Yoda's walking away with the flashlight and he's like, come, come. It's cool. When they did things practically, it just looked so much better. And now he's all CGI all the time. Well, at least not in the Mandalorian. That's not him, but the Baby Yoda is all practical for the most part. But in the prequels, he was all CGI, and it didn't feel the same. For those of you who've been to Batuu or Galaxy's Edge, when you go on the Millennium Falcon ride, they have this little hallway here where Han Solo smooches Leia with that little gear thing she's trying to turn. They have it there. It's pretty cool. You can walk by and be like, this is where all the magic happened. There's actually a lot of people stop to take picture there. Scoundrel. C-3PO comes in and he cock blocks Han Solo. Pretty funny. The Emperor. And again, in the original trilogy, this is the first time we see the Emperor. So it's not till the second movie we get Yoda and the Emperor. Hmm. This is one change I didn't mind so much, where they went in and they put in, where they put in, I'm sorry, I'm totally drawing a blank right now. When they went back into the Empire Strikes Back for the special edition and they put in Ian McDermott. No, it wasn't the special edition. It was after the prequels were shot. They went back and put in Ian McDermott as the Emperor in this scene, and I'm actually okay with this. It doesn't bother me very much. It helps the continuity. And even going back and changing Boba Fett's voice, even though that wasn't necessary, it makes sense because Boba Fett is a clone of Jango Fett, so he would sound exactly the same as him. So yeah, not all the changes were bad. Putting Luke in Yoda's little house, that's so brilliant, so funny. Mm. And here's where Yoda takes off his act, turns his act off. Hmm. Seeing what they do with the puppet in this puppet of Yoda. And I know in Phantom Menace they used a puppet. Even that puppet didn't look like this one. I really wish they would have just kept this constant with Yoda through the entire prequels. Because this is a really good looking puppet. I mean, huh. I'm not afraid. Train me. You will be. You will be. I love it. So many great Yoda quotes in this movie. Minoc. If you remember in Solo, Star Wars story, when Han first meets when he first meets Woody Harrelson's gang, with Rio, the four-armed alien voiced by Jon Favreau, Rio actually makes a reference of a roast Minoc festival or, something like that. And he's talking about these like suction cup bat things. They're called Minocs. Don't really seem very appetizing, if you ask me. Roast Minoc. Shoot the walls and everything starts moving. Ben's Gaming. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us tonight. We're watching a little Empire Strikes Back. You can see on the time code right about here. We're at the part right now where they're leaving the. Sorry. They're at the part where the Millennium Falcon is leaving what is not a cave. It's that giant worm thing. And Luke's training with his Yoda backpack. Seriously, that was one of the best ideas. Whoever came up with that idea of merchandising the Yoda backpack, brilliant. So brilliant. Hmm. R2 so filthy. Who's gonna clean that droid? This is the creepy cave scene. You see, you have a. That's what it is. You have a python, and then you have a chameleon right there. Not a chameleon, an iguana, and it's like, come on. I know we need some wildlife, but let's get something that's less obvious, something more exotic. It was so disturbing as a kid seeing Vader's head getting chopped off. Not something you saw back then too often in the movies, especially in a movie like this that was kind of for families. And then having Luke's head in there, I was so confused as a kid. I'm like, what is going on? Oh, the bounty hunters. Such an iconic sequence or scene right here. You got Bosk, Bosk, Forlom, Zuckuss, Boba Fett, IG-88. No disintegrations. And Dengar. We never get a good look at Dengar. He's just kind of in the background, but such an iconic group of bounty hunters. Failed Lightspeed. She's like, come on. It's not my fault. You know, when you go back and watch the original trilogy, you kind of pick up on the things that they picked and borrowed in the new movies. So, like that, for example, that moment when Solo turns the Millennium Falcon around and comes at the Star Destroyers, and they're like, he's moving in attack position. Is he crazy? If you remember in The Last Jedi, Poe does that kind of thing. He comes up and all the Imperials, or I'm sorry, First Order officers are like, there's a single ship. Is he crazy? What's he thinking? Clearly, that's a callback or a reference. A subtle one, but still. And there goes the X-Wing underwater. do, do, or do not. There is no try. So many good Yoda quotes. He's like wide-eyed, like he's doing it. So good. The good expression. Luke has no idea. His eyes are closed. Little Force sermon by Yoda there. Again, very reminiscent of, or Luke's speech to Rey in The Last Jedi is very reminiscent of that speech Yoda just gave. Not as deep and detailed, but very similar. And Yoda's like, you know what? I'll just do it myself. And Luke's totally dumbfounded. He's just like, oh, such a good line. I don't believe it. That is why you fail. He's like, watching him choke everyone out to death. Admiral's like, oh, okay. How about Bespin? Slave one. Tough choice, Luke. Stay or go. And really, with the special editions and the changes even after that, Empire Strikes Back was ultimately helped. It ultimately benefited from all the changes. Like, all the changes they made in Cloud City are for the better. Make it seem more exotic and not just a bunch of white halls with no windows. He went in and added all these cool windows and scenescapes or skylines and stuff. Pretty cool. There's nothing to worry about. We go way back, Lando and me. Here we go. I can't wait to see Billy D in The Rise of Skywalker. He's so good in this. How you doing, you old pirate? Solo, that movie, it really enhances this scene. Hello, what have we here? Donald Glover was really the great choice for younger Lando. I can't talk tonight. He really was a great casting choice for the younger Lando. He did a great job encapsulating this character. Hmm. Oh yeah, and we also see Ugnaughts for the first time in this movie. And if you remember in The Mandalorian, there's an Ugnaught character prominently featured in two of the episodes, voiced by Nick Nolte. C-3PO's toast. Obi-Wan. Yeah. I do love that Yoda and Obi-Wan don't stop him, but they just advise him not to go. That always gives me chills when Obi-Wan says to Yoda, "That boy is our last hope." And Yoda replies, "No, there is another." Oh, so good. Yeah, all these new scenes, they look so great, but they do feel a little out of place because they look too good. Mm. Leia, I don't trust Lando. Han, I don't trust him either. Now, there's a little Ugnaught friends, and they're about to throw 3PO in the incinerator. Chewie's fighting him off. Hmm. He's He's like, having trouble with your droid? He's like, no. And he's like, but he's in a million pieces right now. Oh, snap. He made a deal, and there's Vader. Excuse me. There's the chain jingle when Boba Fett walks, which at the time of recording this, everyone is speculating that that person we see at the end of the fifth episode of The Mandalorian is Boba Fett. I don't think so. I personally don't think it is, but he did have a little bit of a spur jingle, so maybe. Hmm. Chewie puts his head on backwards. Now, this torture device they're putting Han in looks pretty gnarly. And he refers to him as Han still. It's a pretty nice cell. It has a slide out bench. Oh, that's pretty gnarly. They tortured him and they didn't even get any information out of him. I always thought Lando's security detail, they all looked like Robin Hood, blue Robin Hoods, dressed like Robin Hood. That's one thing that kind of came as a result of this movie that's pretty cool is in they just talked about how carbon freezing might kill him. They don't know if he'll live if they put him in there. And then he said, "We'll test it on Han Solo." And and then Boba Fett takes him to Jabba the Hutt. So apparently, this means of transporting prisoners really caught on after this moment because in the Mandalorian, that's how he catches all his bounties. Well, not catches, but transports them. So it's kind of cool that this moment established that means of transportation. Yeah, I just noticed that. I never noticed that before. Boba Fett was about to blow Chewie away, and Darth Vader pushed his blaster down. I wonder why. There's good in him. I know it. That's why. Man, some of those Ugnaughts look like straight up boars. So that I think his name's Kuil, or Queel. I can never say it, but in the Mandalorian, that Ugnaught, he's a pretty good looking Ugnaught as far as Ugnaughts go. I had the action figure. It was like of Han and Carbonite. It was basically a clear grayish black mold of the Carbonite, you know, mold, and you could it was kind of clear, and you could put the figure right in there, so you could see him kind of through there. It was really cool. I loved it. It was one of my favorite toys. I love how Lando and Lobot just kind of look at each other like, let's not. Let's not and say we did. Keep it down, R2. You're going to alert all everybody, which he did. Oh, man. This never gets old, man. But you are not a Jedi yet. Vader's straight up fighting him one-handed, dude. He's going easy on him. Hold on, Lando. Choke, putting the choke on Lando. It's so funny. Everyone's calling him Han. There goes Han and Boba Fett. Yeah, Vader's going easy on Skywalker. He's taking him one-handed. All too easy. Nope. Impressive. Nice, Luke. Paradise Eve, hello. How are you doing? We're watching a little Empire Strikes Back, and we are at the part where son is facing father in the depths of Cloud City. So good. In fact, in Rey's dream or vision or whatever you want to call that in The Force Awakens, there's a brief moment of her in the same hallway that Luke and Darth Vader fight in this movie. So another nice callback in the sequel franchise. Yeah, at this point, Vader's owning Luke, throwing all those objects at him. There's also a hidden Mickey in this scene. Is that intentional? I don't know, but it's kind of a fun little thing you notice. Seeing Chewie run around with C-3PO strapped to his back, so iconic. There's this little character you see running away after Lando announces that everyone evacuate, and he's carrying what looks like an ice cream maker. There's another callback to that in The Mandalorian when the Mando delivers Baby Yoda and gets that big case of Beskar. That case looks exactly like what this guy's carrying in this. So it's not an ice cream maker after all, but like a carrying case for valuables. It's also really cool to see Leia kicking butt with a blaster. Hmm. Here's that hallway from Rey's Force vision or dream in The Force Awakens. Hmm. There you go, Luke. Oh, this is so good. Oh, guys, I'm getting goosebumps. This is so cool. I love this. Could you imagine what would have happened if Luke just joined Darth Vader? How powerful they would have been? Hmm. Oh, ho, ho, ho. No, I am your father. This moment is, again, in The Last Jedi when Rey and Kylo beat Snoke, and Rey thinks he's turned, but he's not. He's like, join me and we'll rule the galaxy. It's a long way to fall, Luke. He's lucky he landed right in that slide. It would not have turned out well for him. And we won't see that lightsaber again until The Force Awakens, when Maz Kanata gives it to Rey. You know, it would be cool to figure out how it got from here, Bespin, into Maz's hands. I would love to hear that story or see it on the big screen. I don't know, in some fashion. Excuse me. Ugh. Don't forget to hook in, Lando. All right, Lando. Get behind the wheel again. Why? I wish people liked Solo more. Solo is such a good movie. It adds so much more depth to these older movies. Hmm. They told me they fixed it. It's not my fault. Set your weapons for stun. Hmm. It's so again, there's something else I'm catching. When Luke and Vader is talking to Luke on the Falcon, the way they cut those shots together is just like when Leia is on her ship in the Last Jedi and Kylo is thinking about blowing her up. The same shots back and forth are identical. So again, that was a nice touch, nice callback. I love how all the Imperial officers are so like scared of Vader. Whenever something goes wrong, they're all like, "I didn't do it. Don't kill me." Back at the Rebel fleet. Okay, it is kind of weird that Lando seems to be wearing Han's clothes now. In Return of the Jedi, it's similar too. Maybe it's because Han had extra clothes on the ship. I don't know. Brand new hand. Taking the view with Sis. It's an iconic shot. Love it. And Lando's glowing. He's like, I got my shit back. This one definitely ends on more of a downer than the other two, but by design. Dun dun dun. Directed by Irvin Kershner. Well, that is and was The Empire Strikes Back. One of the best Star Wars movies, if not the best. I mean, it's based on your opinion. So good to watch that. I love everything about it. I picked up on a lot of new things watching it this time through that kind of reminded me of the newer films. Things, nuggets and pieces that they took from this and kind of incorporated them into either the way things were shot or story elements. Anyway, really cool thing that they've done to kind of connect these and interlock them together in a more tight and similar and familiar fashion. But that being said, I'm going to wrap this up because it's getting pretty long. But we've got Return of the Jedi, The Force Awakens, and The Last Jedi. 3 more until we're at The Rise of Skywalker on December 20th. Only 10 days. Well, 9 days now. So excited. Anyway, if you joined me tonight, thank you so much for commenting and tuning in. If you're watching this on rerun or repeat, Thanks so much for watching. I normally do 1-minute movie reviews, ranking videos, and all kinds of other movie-related content. I don't necessarily do a lot of these. I have as of late because I'm trying to catch up on Star Wars, so it's fresh in my mind in time for the release of The Rise of Skywalker. So if these are a bit annoying to you, seeing these pop up in your timeline, I'm sorry. It won't be a regular thing, but I am going to be doing these occasionally after we get through Star Wars. You know, just some people seem to really like it. And, you know, I'm having fun doing the live stream thing and interacting with everybody. So if you liked it, give me a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, please let me know in the comments what you don't like and maybe what you'd want me to do instead. I'm really open to suggestions. Ultimately, I want to make you guys happy and enjoy everything that you see here on my channel. With that being said, thanks so much for joining me, guys. And until we do this again, I might be doing one tomorrow. If not tomorrow, maybe Friday. So, but keep your Twitters open and your Instagrams open, and we'll let you know that way. Thanks so much for watching, guys. And until next time, may the Force be with you.